Morning, everyone. Aleper Moses.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Francis Adome Lorica, MP Morato Municipality.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Bruno Webu, the clerk to the committee.
Detective Inspector Makoha Michael, CID.
Good morning, Chair and members, CID.
Okay.
Good morning, Chair and members. I'm called Peter.
Why didn't you use the mic? We are recording.
Good morning, Chair and members. Yoko, Program Officer, Books of the Prime Minister, Karamoja Affairs.
So we shall not waste any time, since we agreed on what to do. We have received the copies of your responses. If there's any other addition, you will let us know in the course of your submission. So, Honourable Minister, take the lead and respond to the issues that the committee raised. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Chair and honorable colleagues. Like you have already guided, we left on 1st, and we had requested, I personally requested that you give me time, and I answered to the question which was particularly for me as a minister, before we go into the other issues.
Then,
if it's so.
That agreed, but then we request the State Minister to step out, because we shall have a special interface with her. So, Honourable Minister Nandutu, we are going to release you for a while, because he's going to start with personal statements. Yes, we shall link up and get you back. Yes, thank you. Minister, we can resume.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I would also request that I read this statement verbatim.
Do we have copies of that?
Honorable colleagues and Honorable Chair, since it is my statement, I came with it to read. I request that I have only one copy.
Need to have copies?
Okay, yes. Statement of the Honourable Minister of Karamoja Affairs to the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs. That is on Friday, 3rd March 2023. Honorable Chairperson and honorable colleagues, members of the committee, this statement is being made in my capacity as Minister for Karamoja Affairs on the matter of iron sheets procured under my ministry. Honorable Chair,
Hello?
I think I will read then. So I'll
Since
finish.
Honorable Sasagan, then Dennis.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Since the minister is around and she's still fresh, and her memory, I believe, is still fresh this morning, she can first expound on her statement before she can go back and write to bring more details.
Okay.
Especially the circumstances where we saw even some hardware's outlets are selling the same iron sheets. She may not need to go and write about it. She can first tell us briefly or expound on it for that matter, because I know she knows who got and who requested, as she goes to bring a documented list about it. Thank you.
Thank you. But Honourable Minister, I'm seeing a very somehow bulky report. Are the specific questions not here in relation to what we asked, including the issues of beneficiaries?
Not really. This one was particularly to me, but the details of how the ministry did it are all here.
So are
Now,
you saying
for the
what
issue of the what you are talking of, whatever, those ones I think are beyond me, because as a minister, we just don't do the distribution. And I think maybe you allow me to bring, not really, I think I request that you give me time. I will give you the detailed report as you have requested from the questions, but otherwise, some things which you're asking are beyond me.
You can answer, for example, the issue of the guidelines. You were not guided well. We have the technical team
Yes,
here. Who was to guide you? Then
I think
people made requests?
Honorable colleague, all ministries are unique. And this particular ministry is a mobilization ministry. So other ministries where I was were not like this particular one. So when you come in as a minister, you are normally handed over the ways in which the ministries run.
Didn't you work with the technical team?
Chair.
I think this is why I was going to say that you would allow me write down, because I was the minister, and I have to say
But you have the technical officers here. Didn't you work with them?
Procedure, Chair.
Yes.
Procedure.
Yes, Honorable Dennis.
Chair, I don't know. I don't think whether we are procedurally moving well. Ministers tendered in our apology. And our apology, to me, is not coming at the right time. It will dematerialize our investigation. First of all, we need detailed information from the minister on who received iron seats, how many did each one of them receive, and then they respond to the question that we raise before they tender in our apology. Apology for what at this material time? We need to go process by process in this matter. Thank you.
Deputy Chair.
Furthermore, procedure to thank the minister for coming in to apologize. Apologizing is really someone to be polite. However, in this apology, the country at large, and more so this committee, would love for you to clear yourself. Mention those whom you gave the iron sheets, and also, because it is, you don't know what it is causing, much as it is still a hearsay, but I've loved you that you have come out openly to say you were not guided. And I would love that you say, someone, so and so was supposed to guide me but did not guide me on this, so I gave away the iron sheets to this, to that, instead of giving it to Karamoja. Because the iron sheets were made for Karamoja, but you were not guided so that you take them to Karamoja, but you gave them to the wrong people. Can we benefit from those you gave? And Madam Chair, Honorable Chair, this meeting, this investigation started, we are going to 5 days, and it was all rotating on you in particular, on you. So I'm wondering why you did not even prepare, and you say that you are coming to, they give you time to write. So I think you need to really help the committee.
Honorable Chair, I can give
a
written report.
Honourable Minister, there are things which do not need written responses, because you have made statement here. For example, you expected guidance, it did not happen. You want to know who was to give you that guidance. You said people made requests. Who are those people? But in summary, the apology is well received, but it does not stop us from the investigation. So now, your statement reflects total mismanagement of the procured iron seeds. But we need to find out how the mismanagement took place. We gave you specific questions, but we have taken the apology. We cannot just report to the House that the minister came and apologized, therefore we did not go to find the nitty-gritties of the issues being raised. So, Honourable Minister, without wasting time, can you elaborate on some of these things and we proceed? Members, we have this report. Let us give time for the Honourable.
Now, Honourable
Yes.
Chair,
to respond briefly
I will
on those
do-
things said,
yes,
then we
yeah.
open up at once.
Now, for the beneficiaries, Honorable Chair, I request that possibly I will give to you the information in confidence, not on the media. And secondly, when I said that I was not guided, normally the head of the technical teams, that's the PS, is always supposed to be guiding ministers, and I did not receive that. Are enough, but the guidance has come in late, and that one I'll be able to give it to you. Yeah.
Honourable Minister, the information
Please,
about the
I think,
beneficiaries is already out.
Honourable colleague.
The information is already out. Are you having a
That
different
one-
list?
No, that one I think I will be able to get, because I'll have to get it from where it is to officially bring it to you.
But you have it in your office.
Not really.
You have it.
No.
Can we send
I
her to
don't have
go
it
and
in my
get the
office.
details?
Chair, excuse me, Chair. Chair,
Let me pick those who have never spoken yet. Has never spoken?
Not
All
really.
of
Chair. Yes, Chair.
Faith, Karamoja, Chair Karamoja, but remember you are an interested person.
Yes,
The
yes.
rules allow you give information to aid this investigation. Yeah.
Madam Chair, the guidelines were there. I want to give information that the minister had the guidelines. We sat together, we developed the guidelines, we developed the list, we got the list of beneficiaries for iron sheets, for goats. Every little detail was there. I have letters why she even wrote the cows, different cows, specifying that LC5 must be one of the people involved, the RDC should be there, the sub-count chiefs, the LC1, the community development officers, the internal security. Every little detail was there. And finally, after the letter of 22nd March 2022, the minister received all the lists from the district of those beneficiaries from the different chief administrative officers. I am wondering what guidelines the minister is asking, because she was extremely guiding everybody else except herself. How do you jump over a river which you know can swallow you? Number two, we have learned from the press, and Madam Chair, I will also, as a petitioner, people have volunteered information. How she was dishing out iron sheets to friends. Members some of the members who received iron sheets have asked me that I give their names to the committee. They are willing to come and testify how she dragged them to come and take the iron sheets of Karamoja. I am also going to give another list. And members are willing to come here with their phones, how she was dishing out iron sheets using WhatsApp, sending messages. So I am wondering what guidelines the minister is telling us she was not guided when she was guiding everybody else except herself.
Thank you. But Honourable Minister, let me just say one thing. Honourable Minister, on Wednesday, your team made a presentation. And in the presentation, you told the committee that the iron seats were meant for the vulnerable groups, including the Karachunas. We still have the document. Can you own the mismanagement as yourself? Because we still have your report.
Honorable colleague.
And you are the lead person.
Honorable colleague,
Was
I have been a minister.
now let's talk about
And,
Karamoja. Let's
yes,
talk about
now
Karamoja.
when I talk about guidance, normally when you as a minister put a request, I'm not in charge of the store, and you have a PS, you will be able to tell the Honorable Minister,
Are you implicating the
this
PS?
is not whatever.
The PS
So,
is here. Let's
PS
narrow,
tell
let's
us.
narrow.
This guidance came on 15th February.
But why
So,
why didn't
when
you
already
manage the
mistakes have
mismanagement?
been made, so when I said
Members,
that there was no proper
members.
guidance, it's true.
Members at this position, one, we can take the apology for the holistic mismanagement, but not attributing to any other person, but only to the Honourable Minister, because she is responsible. She oversees the ministry. And if you said the response to your request came late, why did you go ahead to give it out? But also, Honourable Minister, I repeat, yes, Honourable Minister, we just met you on Wednesday. You told us you know the guidelines, you know the target groups. You went and gave it to other people. So we are holding you responsible on how you went and distributed to the people outside the guideline and the target groups.
Honorable colleague.
Yes.
No, because normally as a minister, is
Thank
to
you, Chair.
have structures to guide, and sometimes
But you are
when
the
do
lead
something,
person.
yes,
Is this
but
apology, no, then, is this
Not
apology
really.
on your behalf or on behalf of somebody?
it is
it
on my
yours?
behalf, and I think I've
Why?
told you
And,
that.
and you said you are giving this apology for the mismanagement. We are not seeing even the name.
The minister, of course.
Can you first look at this document? You have already apologized. Have you apologized for nothing? Can you put your name? Can you put your
Chair,
name?
if she's not
Yes.
ready, you can invoke the powers of this committee.
Can you take an oath?
And the powers of this committee?
Yes.
I-
Now you
yes.
speak on oath.
Yeah, in fact, that's what should be invoked now.
Take the oath.
Yeah, yeah, she has to take oath for
Yes.
anything that she utters.
Okay. Our 112(1) states that a committee shall have powers to cause a witness to be examined on oath, and the clerk to the committee shall have authority to administer it. So, Honourable Minister, we are using that provision, but honestly, let us be systematic. We were here on Wednesday, and we have the whole recording. Can we allow the Honourable Minister to take an oath? Have the oath taken? Honourable Minister, we want you to speak the truth and nothing else. No, you have just now contradicted yourself. In Wednesday's meeting, you elaborated on the guidelines and the target groups. And today you are saying the technical team did not give you enough guidance.
Honorable
So-
colleague, on Wednesday, I think I said there was a
we
component
have
where
the oath?
I donated,
Yes.
and this is what I came to explain.
Yes, but now you have tendered an apology of mismanagement, which is so holistic. But what is embedded in it now is not a holistic reflection. We are now directing you. Honourable Minister, we are directing you to take the oath before we proceed. Please kindly take the oath. Have the oath taken, then we proceed. The rest you will now explain. You will let explain. Can we proceed?
We request the minister unmasks herself so that we're sure she's the one taking the oath.
The country has not declared that we are Ebola free, please. I don't have that mandate.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
social distance is allowed.
Social distance.
So we can give us a space.
Is the minister not audible enough? Oh, the phone.
I read this.
Yes, you read the information put here. Hold the Bible in your right hand. And make sure
I, Kitutu Merigoret Kimono, do solemnly swear that evidence I shall give touching the matter before the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs shall be the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you so much, Honourable Minister. Apology holistically, otherwise we are going to turn it down. Because if you said you know you were forced,
No,
you didn't have the guideline, because some people made requests. Are you owning this apology, my sister?
I am owning the apology, Honorable colleague.
Yes. So can we hold you
I have
responsible?
to be truthful that I was not given guidance. If I had guidance like I have now, Honorable colleague,
you should have sought for
I
it.
wouldn't have
Ignorance
done
is
that.
not a defense at this point. You're a senior person. Honorable colleagues, what we are going to take in record is the mismanagement has been owned by her, unless she withdraws. Because she's the lead person to supervise. She's a senior person. She gave us the guidelines. Nothing will be owned by this committee unless you own your apology holistically. So
Madam Chair.
we want that confirmation before the clerk finally registers this. Let me ask this question for the last time. Are you owning the apology as a lead person for the whole mismanagement of the iron seats meant for Karamoja sub-region?
I'm owning it as the minister responsible.
Thank you so much. And colleagues, remember, we gave specific questions. We gave specific questions, and we expect at this point you respond to the specific questions. Can we proceed and have answers to the specific questions in relation to the mismanagement of the iron seats meant for Karamoja sub-region? So that when you come, now you'll be able to ask on the gaps.
Thank you very much, Chair. I will now, through you, request that the accounting officer presents the details of the questions which were requested to respond on.
Let's start on the issues of the iron sheets, so that we shall be able to correlate it with what we have just received.
I think.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. Proceeding to read from this text, paragraph 2.0, sub-paragraph 2.1 in regard to the procurement. During the senior top management meeting that was held on 21st December 2021, under minute 87, it was resolved that all iron sheets procured by the office under different programs should be pre-painted with a unique color. The color that was chosen was sand beige and labeled Office of the Prime Minister for ease of identification and traceability. The Office of the Prime Minister spent therefore 7,164,996,934 Uganda shillings to purchase 95,044 pieces of pre-painted gauge 28 iron sheets from the supplementary budget.
To the one for the Karamoja sub-region, not the general one.
We shall further inform the meeting, but this was the Karamoja, Honorable Chair.
This is for Karamoja?
Yes.
Under our money of 39 billion.
Yeah, the supplementary budget.
The supplementary budget?
Yes.
Members, let's take note. We are not concerned about others except this one of 39 billion.
So I confirm, Honorable Chair, this is the from the supplementary budget.
Okay.
The iron sheets were procured from two pre-qualified manufacturers and suppliers, namely Messrs. Roofings Uganda Limited and Messrs. Integrated Steel Uganda Limited. The procurement was based on technical specifications provided and cleared by the Ministry of Works and Transport. Earlier, Office of the Prime Minister had procured 10,000 pieces of plain iron sheets for the Community Empowerment Program of Karamoja at Uganda shillings 400 million. This was from the approved budget, now not the supplementary.
So this one, members, let's take note, this is outside our 39 billion. So accountability for this needs to be separated.
Yes.
Yes.
So the pre-painted iron sheets procured under the supplementary budget are the ones that were meant for the Karachunas and the vulnerable people due to rustling and insurgency. Paragraph 2.2, the issue was about the delay to distribute the iron sheets.
Clarification?
Yeah, some clarification on the last statement. The pre-painted iron sheets procured under the supplementary budget are meant for the Karachunas. Whereas your minister was not so much aware of whom were you budgeting and planning for to buy these iron sheets. So I think you'll guide us there properly, either you guided that or not, if they're for Karachunas or not.
But leave alone that, these people are forgetting that we were together here on Wednesday. The iron sheets were meant for the special interest groups and the Karachunas. So if they procured the one for Karachunas separately, let them tell us about the procurement for other special interest groups. Please be consistent.
Yeah, Honorable Chair, maybe what I can submit in the already preparation of the document. But what we mean by Karachuna, if you allow me to use the word under the disarmament program, where Karachunas and the victims of the rationing, because the unlimited scale were widows of
These are the reformed
yes, warriors.
Yes, but there's the other group who were chosen because of their vulnerability.
Due to that insecurity, which yes. So it could have missed here in the typing, but that it remains that, Honorable Chair.
Madam Chair.
Tell us the question you were answering.
Clarification.
In relation to this, what was the question? Read the question first. What was our question?
Madam Chair.
Let's first get the question. You should first give us the question before you go to the answer.
Honorable Chair, the questions were broken down, but in our response we attempted to group them. But there was a question on the purpose of the supplementary budget.
The purpose?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Madam Chair, I also wanted them to clarify, because now we're seeing there are two categories of iron sheets here. There are these ones that were procured from another budget, the 10,000, and then
that one we have removed.
Yeah. So, because there's confusion, which ones were mismanaged? Is it these ones that were quoted or the other ones? Because we need to know exactly, so that we are guided well.
Honorable Chair, the 10,000, that is the plain iron sheets there in the store.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. For now, members, we are going to the next question. If you have any other thing in this response of the first question, can you?
We actually, I wanted to find out whether the PS was able to guide the minister in the course of the distribution of the iron seats. Buying, actually, in the process of the procurement of the iron seats.
Thank you. And what was the intended figure, amount for this procurement? Because you are saying you have spent 7.1, but what was voted for this procurement? Yes, Honorable Albert, then him. Albert has not spoken earlier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The question of distribution of iron sheets. The iron sheets have not been distributed.
We are still on the purpose for the procurement.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, our colleague from Karamoja?
May guide, we should actually guide the minister when she's delivering. Because when I look at the answers, the responses to the questions of the iron sheets, it is too lacking, it is too shallow, very scanty and that sort of thing. This is what happened. Why you are here today is you are given money to procure iron sheets for 5,000 people in Karamoja. While the Karamojong were still waiting, the beneficiaries, I mean, a breaking story arose that some iron sheets suspected to be from the office of the Prime Minister were got in Amisindwa district, and I think Manafwa. And that's what triggered this.
Honorable colleagues, we are going question by question.
Yeah, so
now we are on the purpose for the procurement. We want to know why government voted this money. How much money was voted? How much was spent? All that. Let's move question by question. Yes. Honourable Minister, we still have a gap in this response. Accounting officer, the Honourable Minister said the technical issues will be answered by you.
Yeah. Honourable Chair.
Did you fail to guide the Honourable Minister?
I beg, if I'm to submit on that question, you allow me, Honourable Chair, to come on another occasion.
Confidential. You know, it's fine.
Yes, we are.
Justice, you know, is costly. It's okay. The question on whether guidance was given or not, we shall call him. Yes. Now tell us on the specific questions we raised on the purpose.
Honourable Chair and members, as I stated,
He's responding. Let's receive this.
Why is he saying? Madam Chair, thank you. And
you know,
colleagues.
these are junior officers.
Yes, but Madam Chair, my point is, if
yes.
a honourable minister alludes to lack of guidance from a technical staff, and then the technical staff before this committee fails to openly say it here now, that means there's something bigger than what we are hearing.
That is fine.
And so,
we shall discover.
as we prepare to receive him for an answer, let us actually expect a justification why he was not able to mention the non-guidance here and waited for them. There is a lot, I think. And that means
yes.
there's some big problem within the ministry.
Yes, he has made a request. And colleague, you were not here. The state minister has also been sent out because she will make her own statement. Now the junior staff here has also requested space and space. Yeah. Yes, space and space. Because he's a junior person, please. So,
So, Chair, if my response has carried connotations that we do not perform our duties, maybe the question is rephrased for me. The guidance which was not given or the non-guidance not provided.
You will respond to all that. You have made a request, we have granted.
Thank you, Honourable
You
Chair.
are going to appear for the allegations made by the minister. Not us. We thought you came here as a team. But the minister said you did not help her. So you will respond to that later. Can you answer specific questions?
Okay. Honourable Chair, when we appeared on Wednesday, we made submission on the successive stages of consultations of how to come from this program, whereby we are to procure goods, iron sheets, and conduct sensitization. So, initially, the iron sheets were to be plain, and the target was 80,000 pieces. But during senior top management, a recap was made that our iron sheets, which we distribute, get mingled in the open society, and you can't trace once you have given them out.
You said
in society.
80,000.
80. Yes.
Okay, but you said you purchased 95,000.
Yes. Yeah. Honourable Chair, when you set to procure and you have a budget, you can realize efficiency savings depending on the price at which you buy.
How much per each iron sheet?
So, at that time, the plain sheet would be purchased.
Not will be, we want the real figure. How much per each?
So let me state how the 80,000 came is that we targeted 26 iron sheets per household, and we targeted 3,339
procurement of this?
households in the 9 districts of Karamoja.
Who is the lead person in the procurement?
There is a department is pacification and development. The undersecretary is here.
To have specific answers to this.
I'll allow the undersecretary pacification to add on, Chair, if you permit.
We have asked specific questions.
Yes.
How much per iron sheet?
The estimate or the up
The
to?
real. You paid money, not on estimates. You didn't pay money on
Madam
estimates.
Chair.
The gauge 28 pre-painted, we purchased it in the region 79 to 80,000. Yes.
That is not a specific amount. Can you delegate?
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, there's something here.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, there's something here. There's some information.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, please.
Madam Chair.
Requesting somebody to stand in and give us the specific figures.
Madam Chair.
You mean you cannot know that I bought 10 cows? Each cow
Madam
was
Chair.
buying
Madam Chair, information.
Madam Chair, procedure.
Accounting officer, are you now
Madam Chair, procedure.
Are you now set?
Chair,
Proceed,
allow me
Madam
to
Chair.
quote from the call of order which we issued to the supplier to get the unit cost.
Okay. Let's get the unit cost. I'll give you time to raise all what you want.
Yes.
Others will help us to use their mathematics because there are some figures here.
The unit cost, Honorable Chair, from a call of order that was issued to Roofing Group, one piece was 76,000.
76.
137.
137.
Yes.
This is for one piece.
Yes, Honor. Of gauge 28, repainted.
Clarification, Madam Chair.
Yes. Now
Uh,
on the price,
clarification.
raise your issues, yes?
I want to ask you one question. These, the plain iron sheets here, the 10,000 that you bought, were they gauge 28?
Yes, Honorable.
Because given the price here, you purchased at 400 million with 10,000. That means the cost price is 40,000 per iron sheet.
Yes.
So how do you come to that figure of 76?
This is pre-painted.
Yeah.
Yes, the other one was plain.
So that means the cost of painting is about 30,000 per iron sheet, 36,000 per iron sheet, which is almost the same price of the cost price. Does it make sense?
But I have got no control over that from the manufacturers, Honorable Chair.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Questions on this pricing? Yes, Honorable Karamoja.
Madam Chair, probably I do not know whether the factory was selling in terms of pieces or in terms of square meters. Because what I know in most of these factories, such iron sheets are sold in terms of what? Square meters.
Mm-hmm.
Some are in pieces. So in this particular case, were they rated in terms of pieces or square meters?
Supplementary question? Okay. Why don't you sit and on your document and present?
Better get your chair and
Yes,
sit
you
here.
get your chair. Can the procurement officer come and sit here? Can you come and sit here? Come with your files. You speak it on mic. Speak it on mic. And come here. You come here. We are the same people. We are the government. There is a question for you. Karubanga, can you repeat the question and she responds?
Honorable Chair, I had the question.
Okay.
We specified in terms of width and length
Can we have a copy of that document?
Exactly.
Yes.
What was the width and
Yes.
length? That is the size.
Yes,
Square
Honorable
meterage.
Dennis, then Albert.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yes, we have now received the cost per iron sheet. Can they lay on table the vouchers, the receipts, good receipt notes, as per the purchase, all of them, so that we see them chronologically?
Yes, can we receive the evidences for the procurement?
More supplementary question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable Nancy.
Thank you. We would also want to see the pro forma invoice from other companies, maybe roofings, Uganda Bati, before you arrived at procuring from this particular company, so that we know that this was the lowest bid that you received. Thank you.
We hope you are noting. We don't want to take more days here. Honorable Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The companies they were dealing with are organized companies, and they were not just transacting verbally. They were transacting using official documents. And in this kind of arrangement, they would just lay on table those official documents they were using for transacting. Thank you.
Thank you. You have made a summary of what we have requested. So, accounting officer, can you respond to the issues members have documents laid?
Honorable Chair, within a few minutes, my people are sorting from the volumes we came with, and we are going to lay before the committee.
So, honorable colleagues, on this matter, we are standing over question number 1 until the document is laid. The documents are laid. So can we go to question number 2? Question number 2. Yes.
Distribution of iron sheets. Initially, the total number of intended beneficiaries was 3,339 households.
But
the district local government. Pardon?
Before we proceed, let's confirm the figure government voted for iron sheets. Wasn't it? The amount of money.
Madam Chair, in our budgeting and even the release, there was 8 billion.
8 billion.
Meant to procure iron sheets. And if you go by the price of 76,137, definitely you would multiply by the number 100,000 iron sheets. You would have to spend 137 million shillings for 100,000 iron sheets.
100,000. If this is for the 100,000 iron sheets, remember we got information for the launch. We use this iron sheets.
Yes.
How many? 1,000.
1,000
650. Okay. Thank you. Can we proceed? Your mic is off.
The total number of intended beneficiaries was 3,339 households. The district government identified, selected, verified, and submitted the list to the Office of the Prime Minister. Equally, area members of Parliament submitted lists, and the sum total of the two categories exceeded the targeted number, which calls for harmonization, hence the delay in the distribution. The Office of the Prime Minister has so far released 20,500 iron sheets from the stores, out of which 1,000 iron sheets were used at the launch of the distribution by His Excellency the President, and 650 of these were distributed to 25 Karachunas, and 350 are in the stores at Moroto. In addition to the above, 5,000 pre-printed pieces of iron sheets were released to Nakapiri Village District and the Chief Administrative Officer submitted accountability, which is here too attached.
But we need more clarification.
Yes.
Who directed the district local governments to submit the list of beneficiaries and the members of parliament? Who directed them?
It came from Office of the Prime Minister.
Who wrote the letter?
There is one general guideline which was issued by the minister, and specifically I myself wrote to the chief administrative officers.
So if you relate this statement to the lack of guidance, are we still having that question standing? When was the instruction given to the district local governments?
I would recall in March 2022.
22nd of March. 22nd of March 2022. When were the iron seats procured?
We procured them later in July and August.
We know of April.
Yeah, April, Honorable Chair, the ministry has a minimum provision in the budget every other financial year. And until when we got this special budget, which we got in December 2021, we issued call of orders early somewhere in March or April,
okay,
up to June, up to July.
Can we have the documents?
We shall read the documents.
We need the documents for the instructions, the guidelines and all the instructions, because at the beginning the minister said she was not guided. But now from 22nd March last year, the same document they own for today's presentation reflects there were instructions given. Was the same instruction given to members of parliament? Because you have caused conflict between the members of parliament and the district local government politicians. Tell us.
The honorable members of parliament, Honorable Chair, we are copied in.
We are copied in?
Yes.
Where was the letter saying they should also submit?
The letter was saying they should participate and they liaise together with the district local governments to arrive at the number of beneficiaries.
Why did you allow them submit different lists? Because now the problem is the district local government officers submitted independent lists vis-a-vis the ones submitted by honorable members. Who caused the confusion?
Honorable Chair, I don't think I can tell why the cows submitted lists which left out the input of the honorable members of parliament.
Who submitted first?
Madam Chair.
Let's now give it to honorable.
Thank you,
we
Chair.
Need information. Why
On the issue of, I agree with you, Chair. The Ministry for Karamoja Affairs deliberately caused a confusion. They sent out a letter to cows to submit lists. The cows complied much earlier. Then they wrote to the minister wrote to our chairman to ask the members of parliament to compile lists for a specific amount of iron sheets, which don't tally to 100,000. And we complied. So in terms of who did wrong, the minister and our team did wrong.
Do we have the copy of that letter? Yes, we need it. Yes, get for us that letter.
Madam Chair and colleagues, let's be clear on these things. I have been in this parliament for the last 20 years. The 100,000 iron sheets that was supposed to be procured using 8 billion or less was specific, supplementary, an emergency, and that's why we are here. But in 2009, when the First Lady was the Minister for Karamoja Affairs, she was the one who started the program of modernizing villages in Karamoja, creating new, better settlements. She started giving identified beneficiaries and building houses
in Moroto. When you go to Moroto, there is Nakapelimen, there is Nadunget, there is Lorenedwat. There are many places where she initiated this project. Along the way, in interacting with her as Karamoja parliamentary group, we also told the minister, yes, you have done a great project. Can you also help members of parliament? Because we do identify young people who want to do business, they have plots in the centers, so that we can also identify these people and support them to get iron sheets.
Was your request out of the supplementary budget or the routine budget?
We actually knew that every year, every member of parliament here would get 300 iron sheets for targeted beneficiaries in his or our constituency. When the minister wrote to us, it was very clear she was writing with respect to what Mr. Seremba, the PS here, referred about the white iron sheets in the normal program, where they had procured 10,000 iron sheets at a price of 400 million. None of us was in the business of trying to grab or divert the directive of the president of giving Karashinas 100,000 iron sheets. And we are going to present the letter.
So, Honourable Minister and your team, members are saying where they are supposed to participate is different from the supplementary budget money, because we have the routine budgetary provision, where members of parliament, by the way, not only from Karamoja, yes, across the country, we participate. So, can we first clarify on this, where you are saying that you are waiting for harmonization, and yet what the members know is their request falls under the routine budget, not of the supplementary. Members, let's first get that right. Yeah, let's get this, then I give it to you. In summary, accounting officer, members are saying the list they submitted are for the beneficiaries to benefit from our annual budget, not the one for supplementary. Can you clarify on that?
Honorable Chair, I have listened carefully, and with that note, I think it clarifies on the way forward.
So you are withdrawing?
Then we shall proceed with the lists that were submitted by the Chief Administrative Officers.
But why didn't you concern them to do this harmonization before even the petition came? Are you not in talking terms?
Sometimes we are not in access to the political
Honourable
reasons.
Minister, this goes to you. Members are saying their lists are for a different source of fund, not for the supplementary budget. Why have you put it here as a justification?
Yeah,
Let her answer that. I give you. Remember, you have a small committee. Because why I'm interested, this thing affects the members of parliament. As if they're the ones delaying the process. So let's get the answers right before we proceed to other things.
Because I think, honorable colleague, for me as a political supervisor, my role was always to remind the technical team, please, design sheets need to be distributed. And they also were also giving me the same explanation of those conflicts. But now that is now clear.
Yes, but Honourable Minister, before you conclude, the members of parliament have just said they made a request. Do you have that copy of the request?
I want to know now from the minister, why after we agreed on that decision, why did you decide to keep the iron sheets in Namanve and not in Moroto? Is it because you were misguided again?
Well, Honourable Minister, one we need peanuts. Because if it was a agreed position which was shared with other stakeholders, including the government that gave this money, we need to comply. Honourable Minister, can you speak on that?
We are in Kampala and not in Moroto, that one I think I will need my accounting officer to guide me on that, to answer that.
Who was to decide on where these things are supposed to be delivered?
Honorable Chair,
Because that
the delivery point as per the contract was the OPM stores in Kampala. But that does not stop.
Who was to make decision on that? Because in the meetings you agreed on Moroto. So
yeah, there is an agreement in the meeting, but there is also the contract. So the contract,
why
the contractor.
didn't you include what you agreed in the contract?
The contract had already been placed by September 2021 for Kampala.
So does it mean that...
But even then, even if the contract provided for that, and sheets can still be transferred to Moroto, that's another matter.
Now, I want...
But secondly, Honorable Chair.
First wait. Does it mean that
on my part, I was not a party in that meeting. That can be for the Honourable Minister.
Was the Honourable Minister in those meetings? So, Honourable Minister, which one took place first? The agreement or the award of the contract?
Well, I think, Honorable Chair, I think I will contact the Undersecretary to look at the minutes, what took first before the other one.
But you chaired the meeting. You chaired the meeting. Can you tell us which one took place first? You also over-squeezing the technical officers, Honourable Minister.
Not really over-squeezing, Honourable Chair, but normally we do our work at political supervisors, and when you guys...
But you chaired the meeting with
I
politicians.
don't go to... No, like there are certain... Well, as a political supervisor, you may give guidance, you agree, but you may not go into the nitty-gritty of the...
But you needed to supervise over the decisions taken. You took decisions. Who was to ensure that the decisions were implemented?
But
that was your role.
There are certain...
Now, I want to know, the contract, much as whether it came first, whether it came next, what was the contract saying? Did it have the delivery to stop in Namamve, and then you will also get another contract to take to Karamoja? There were there two contracts, or it was one contract? We would like to know.
Honorable Chair, Office of the Prime Minister has contractors, and those contractors conform to their contract conditions. So the contract for iron sheets is to deliver to Namamve stores. We did not issue a special contract for Karamoja. Rather, we have a contract for supply of iron sheets to Office of the Prime Minister.
Accounting officer, did you attend the meeting in which decision was taken?
No, Honorable Chair.
So, honorable members, the minister did not direct the technical team to ensure that the iron sheets under this source of money are taken to Moroto. She's here.
Madam Chair. Madam Chair.
From what he's saying,
Madam
it
Chair.
seems for them they procured, even for him, for disaster, even for Williano, for what, everything and put together. That means minister did not care to say that this 39 billion is different from all other procurements. That's what I see. So that's why these ones had to do the way they used to do. So this particular iron sheets, you people, was actually not meant for you, much as the money was meant for you previously. But from what they are saying, everything was procured and taken to the stores where they normally take iron sheets, and routinely, even some of the other members get.
Madam Chair.
Sorry.
Madam Chair.
Is referred to as framework contract. You specify the technical specifications and the attendant terms. Now, if a department, and this is placed for repeatedly procured items which are of similar nature and in terms of specifications. So we did that, and we agreed that it is gauge 28 pre-painted to be delivered at Namang. Every department and office of the Prime Minister states their quantity according to their budget.
Different? Are the stores different?
Pardon?
The stores.
The stores are the same, but in the inventory it is entered with the different lines.
The stores are the same.
They are the same.
Madam Chair.
But we are able to delineate that this department has 1,000,
Yes,
this department has 5,000.
Madam Chair, yes. I think we don't have a problem of iron sheets getting into the stores in Namambe. Our problem is the delay of iron sheets going to Karamoja. So I happened to be in a meeting in the Prime Minister's office where the PS, when we are consulting into the iron sheets, the PS came in and said, you would be in a position to get fuel and make sure that the iron sheets reach every district and will be received by the chief administrative officers. This is a question that delayed up to date. But the other question I would want to ask the Minister, Honorable Chair, is that one district in Karamoja got iron sheets and the beneficiaries were given iron sheets. So we have been surprised. Why have other districts not received the iron sheets? Thank you very much.
Honorable Chair, the delivery of iron sheets has always also been my concern, and I think I even attempted to write to my colleagues in other line ministries for support for at least big vehicles to deliver this. I think even my technical teams can agree.
When you are talking about transport, Honourable Minister Hilary Onek guided this meeting very well, that it was incumbent upon you to have a comprehensive plan on how to purchase and also deliver, inclusive of the delivery processes. So Honourable Minister, if you did not do your budget well, it's not a justification to us. It is not a justification. Members, we have too many questions, around 50.
So,
around 50, so let's go specific. If you want to supplement on this, and we go to others. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Looking at the nature in which responses are, the working environment within the ministry has not been good. Because who is really now between the minister and the accounting officer? Because every time things are not clear when they are responding. It tells you that not until their position is harmonized within the ministry, that the ministry will continue having problems like the ones we are handling now. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we go to the next question?
Parliament are key stakeholders who participated at various stages and made input throughout the process, including awareness, sensitization, and oversight.
The question here is the distribution.
But the distribution has not been done. I think it has only been done in Nakapiripirit, and Nakapiripirit members of parliament were involved.
Why did you only handle Nakapiripirit vis-a-vis other districts?
Honorable Chair, we had just started the process. That's when this occurred and the stores were closed. So
when was the distribution done in Nakapiripirit?
I think the documents show it must have gone in. Otherwise, all the documents have already gone to the chief administrative officers, and deliveries were about to begin. Nakapiripirit, the documents which I have, I think accounting officer, can you?
Did you release all the IOCs made for Nakapiripirit? Or Nakapiripirit benefit like any other institution, or through members who benefited under your donation?
Not really, This is an official
Honorable Chair.
distribution, I think.
Nakapiripiri has not completed their quota.
Yes.
Madam Chair, I'll
I'm
go back
told
again to the
they
letter.
have
I'll go back to the
received
letter of 22nd of March, and even subsequent letters on distribution. It clearly says the distribution shall be witnessed by district, sub-county, and village leaders. The chairman Nakapiripiri, the LC5, appeared before this committee in the conference room and said they have not, as a district, received iron sheets. And Honorable Alepre Moses, who is a member of parliament, is here. He was here. He has always stated officially his district has not received any iron sheets, but they also heard that the minister donated to another minister from that district 5,000 iron sheets. I think we'll keep at that. We will invite the minister who received the donation from the colleague and get the details of where those iron sheets are.
By the way,
But Honorable Chair,
Yes. Yes.
I think for me, what they are showing me that the cow Nakapiripiri from the stores, they say it's the cow Nakapiripiri to received.
Isn't
And-
Nakapiripiri on your list of donations?
Not really. This is an official.
You know, now, Minister.
No.
People are giving us information. We
I
don't
think
want
you
you to
better-
contradict.
I think accounting officer, this is an official Annex B.
Madam Chair, guidance, I needed some.
Let her first
Okay.
hear that.
Annex B, there is a letter from the permanent secretary.
To?
No, there is a letter from the chief administrative officer, Nakapiripiri, to the permanent secretary, and it is dated 22nd February
Yeah, but we have
2023,
information.
and is acknowledging
Okay, we want now
that you
your
received
letter.
this.
We want your letter that you wrote to the chief administrative officer, Nakapiripiri. Because what we know,
it is the our only right to members of parliament.
Yeah. In this.
I don't write to the cow. So,
okay.
Accounting officer, can you please show?
The letter you wrote to Nakapiripiri. But we also have information. It was so fair and transparent. She passed it to the district to distribute it. So does it mean that you have two sets of distribution? She received.
I think.
You donated to her. She handed over to the district. Yes, Honorable Hillary.
Thank you, Chair. My Minister of State, Honorable Anyakun, currently is in Karamoja. But she told me to tell the committee categorically that what was given to Nakapiripiri was an allocation for Nakapiripiri district, which she as a minister oversaw to see that they went to the stores of the district, and there they distributed, and the lists were sent of the recipients were sent to this committee, were sent to the ministry. So I think that's her position. Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, give us. When colleagues, that list we have it, and we have made a ruling that we are only going to reason. Only that, the rest we are not going to consider, even including the request made by Honourable Minister for the vulnerable group. That
she has taken responsibility of apologizing. Is she the one going to recover the iron seats, or will recover the iron seats from those who receive them? Chair, we should bear in mind that these iron seats were meant for the Karasunas, so that they settle, so that they stop the cattle rustlings. And if she has given the iron seats to the non-Karasunas of Kampala, to other fellow ministers, is she really sure that these are the people going to help to stop cattle rustlings? We want to know. Is she really quite sure about that? Are we in peace now from the Karasunas? This must come clearly before we leave the issues of the iron seats.
Honorable member, not. It is the committee to make a decision. Honorable Minister only made a plea. The rest will be to us to decide what is to be done. Yes, he promised.
Madam
So
Chair.
we are here waiting for the list.
Madam Chair.
Now I request that we move this way. Add on the other questions which have not been put here.
Are we still following what was conceived at the time of passing the supplementary, which was
that one we ruled
30, which was
ruled.
7 people per parish?
That one we ruled.
Each person.
That one we ruled. Okay. Albert?
Madam Chair, mine is, there are some questions which have answer to it. What was special for Nakapiripiri? Again, within Nakapiripiri, there is a protest now. If other ministers have been exposed, why cover one? If it is true that...
That one we have just answered. We have handed it over to CID. We have not agreed with them.
Okay.
We said, why Nakapiripiri? But also we are aware that our sister was given a donation. Why are they now implicating the minister that side? So it is under investigation. Any other thing? Yes?
Madam Chair, my concern is, I do not have that the detailed summary, but my concern is, are we sure we have the originally intended beneficiaries list? If we have it, then it's okay. She can give us those that she erroneously donated to.
That
because
one we have
when
ruled.
she was,
We have ruled on that. She's going to bring it. She has accepted twice on the mic. Any other question in relation to Iron Sea? I sympathize with your family members. There is an allegation that your mother and your brother have been selling iron seeds. Set those people free. Not in bad faith. I imagine what
Now,
your family is going through.
Now, Honorable Chair, maybe that one I can also give you, because I've never gone there. I also hear it. I've actually not
Did you
gone
deliver
home.
iron seeds to those people?
Well, that was part of the donation for a school, and it was being stored
Oh, okay.
there.
So did
So
you? I
that
repeat,
one I need to get
I
for
want
more
you to
information.
confirm.
Otherwise, I've
We
not
we
been
don't
there.
want to stress your mother.
So was the mother Karachuna?
So Honour Minister, are you saying that part of the donation went to your mother and your brother?
Then, Madam Chair, I want to know whether the mother was a Karachuna.
Please, let's be orderly to get what we want. Honour Minister, can you respond to that?
I think the donation was for a school, but was being stored at home. So whatever happened there, no, I have projects, like I already even have a dormitory.
Is it among the 3,000 you donated to yourself?
That is the component, yes, which I will give you the breakdown.
But are you aware that some iron seeds were sold?
No, I'm not aware.
CID, take note. There is a claim that some iron seeds were sold cheaply in your district.
That one? No, I'm from Manafa, by the way.
Yes.
I'm a woman MP for Manafa. And that is... Namisindwa is where I'm born, but I will be able to explain when I get the right information.
But why did you store these things with your parents or your relatives?
That is the nearest to the school. And
why
that's
didn't you
not
give to the school?
No, the school does not have a store.
Which school is that?
Stumi Primary School. It is a primary school.
Sumi?
Situmi.
Situmi.
Yeah.
Primary school.
I had earlier on donated a dormitory on my own for girls. There are 200 girls. But then there was a need for boys. So those are some of the errors that I was explaining, but I'll be able to give the details in the report when I give you. But otherwise, for the sale, That one is beyond me. I'm not aware. And I've never gone to Namsindwa since.
We want to relieve that old woman. Can you take responsibility than that old woman? You can imagine inviting that old woman to come here, very stressed, or us going to her home, stressing her. Honourable Minister, we want honesty, because we don't want to stress that old woman.
Honorable Chair, like I've pledged that since that time I've not had time to go back also and establish the truth, really what happened. Like I also read it in social media.
But then, how did it reach Namsindwa? How?
No, that was a donation which was last year, July.
But your
those iron
district
sheets have been there.
Your district is separate, is different from, yours is Manafa.
Is Manafa, but
then
as a minister
of the region.
Or the region, you don't only donate to whatever.
But huh? Oh, okay. Okay.
But I will be able to explain in my report, which I will hand you.
Kaka, if we went to the school, shall we be able to get that information?
Yes, you will be able to get the information.
Supplementary question to this?
To the municipality.
Yes, mine.
We just want to understand if the minister is for Bugisu region, so that how Bugisu affairs, so that we understand how did the donation now reach to the Bugisu affairs ministry probably, because I thought she's the minister for Karamoja affairs.
The donations went beyond Karamoja. We have treated those ones under donations which she committed herself to. Honorable Fadil.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, my concern is, if our concern was to serve the Karachunas of Karamoja, and now here the minister has decided to give our iron sheets to the relatives. So I want to know whether the mother and brothers and the villagers that benefited from these iron sheets in Namsindwa, were they the Karachunas in that side, or they were the Karachunas of Karamoja? I thank you.
Thank you. We have gotten information that the Karachunas are all over the country under donations. They're all over the country. Yes, Honorable Benjamin?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I would want the minister to tell us, because all of us here know how relief items are distributed. We would want to know whether the school, through the local administration, they are requested for these iron sheets before they are donated. Were there any problem? Was the school roof blown by wind? Because this is the way these items are supposed to be donated, don't given out.
Is the cow aware of the district? Because it is your guideline that we should use our cows.
Now, I will be able to explain further, but on that school, that is my school where I studied. Okay. And I think I've already told you that I'd already donated a dormitory on my own for girls. And that dormitory was launched by the Vice President. Okay. Maybe you need to protect me.
Okay, colleague?
Madam Chair, I don't know at what point, Madam Chair, I don't need guidance. The interpretation of the word donation, because it never appeared in any of our documents when we asked the President for this supplementary, that there will be a word called donation. Let the minister say, I actually pilfered the hands of Karamoja. I stole them and gave to some other people. Because this is irritating, and the whole country is irritated, that you just stole them and gave to other people. Not the donation. That is a very kind and terrible, painful word for some of us.
Thank you. I think we had already concluded on that. Right from the time we started this meeting, there was a specific purpose for the supplementary. Anything beyond that, we are not going to consider it. Except for investigation, you have to be fair. You allow people to really give what you want in terms of the responses. But Honourable Minister, kindly, we are requesting you to own what we went to the school or what went to your relatives, because those are wrong locations. And we don't want to overstress your mother. We feel bad. We are human beings. Honourable Minister, we asked all of you, accounting officer, do we have a code for donations in the planning? We asked this question to you on Wednesday, because we know it is the president who has the prerogative countrywide to donate. Do we have that?
Honorable Chair, until the budgeting process for financial year 22-23, first of all, generally, Office of the Prime Minister has a donations item because the President ceded some powers of donation to the Right Honourable Prime Minister. So the code is there.
Okay.
But it is for the Prime Minister and the deputies. But then, because affirmative action ministries had these items which are transferred to support vulnerable groups, provisions for their purchase and acquisition were provided for under that item in the previous financial years. It was until this new year when we were budgeting, we realized it was causing a fusion of the statutory privileges and the normal operations of any ministry. So we changed.
Do you budget for donations under the supplementary budget?
No, but during the mainstream budget in that year, the money for buying iron sheets was under donations.
Under mainstream, I think we have been benefiting as members of parliament, cutting across. But now our interest is on the supplementary budget. If it was not there, then it is true. There was total diversion because it was meant for specific purpose. So
There's a clarification, Chair. Thank you so much, Chair. In our opening statement, the minister indicated that she has worked in many other ministries, but Karamoja was very unique. And part of what we are actually investigating is to ensure that the next time Karamoja works just like any other ministry. So I would want to, with the help maybe of the peers, to find out what are these unique things about Karamoja that often seem to be taken advantage of, so that part of the recommendation of the committee is to streamline those unique things, because we don't want to be unique. Thank you.
Thank you. It will be the minister to answer. That statement came from the...
Like in other ministries where I was, I don't think I had anywhere where I would donate. But in this particular ministry, honorable colleagues from Karamoja, you all have to agree that sometimes we have to go beyond even receiving requests from communities for certain particular requests which are not really in other ministries, but the uniqueness of Karamoja is certain things you go beyond what you were used to be doing in other, like always, you know,
Thank
a
you.
minister.
All those were supposed to be incorporated in your budget,
yes,
not in the supplementary. So members, let's move forward. We have been consistent in making our rulings. So can we go to next? Any other question? I think now no. But Honourable Minister, go and think about it. We don't want to storm your mother's home. But if you push us, we shall have no option.
Madam Chair, I've been so constrained on that very issue because Honorable Minister said that she has not gone there, she doesn't know. We all have those who still have mothers, but even us who had. When you hear anything about your mother, you either send or you call. These days there are phones. You call. You mean you have not, when anything happens in social media, you have not called your mother to know what is happening? I have been constrained to ask, but someone say, this thing happened and then nothing. You've not even your brothers whom they say they sold. Because that is, to me, it is an allegation that will really take me. Even I would have gone there and said, how can you sell this son? But for you say, you don't know what is happening. I want to know.
Honorable colleagues, I think as members of the committee, maybe I need to explain to you. But outside this.
Are you requesting for in-house meeting?
Well, maybe.
But now our conclusion is she is aware of what is happening. And she is requesting for in-house. It's fine. That one is okay. But our position is she is responsible for the iron seats got at her relatives' places and being sold. Can we move? We are time bad. We have 50 questions. Can we go to the next? Karamoja feeds Karamoja.
Now, following, Honorable Chair and Honorable colleagues, following a multi-sectoral stakeholder engagement meeting on the street children, Ministry of Karamoja Affairs was assigned to provide food for the street children who were rounded up from the streets of Kampala and taken to Weso Masulita Children Village for rehabilitation, and all of whom were from Karamoja. And this was done by the Minister of Education and Sports. So in August 2022, a total of 1,000 bags of maize was released from the Namaru prison stores and delivered to Uweso Masulita Children Village in Wakiso district. And Honorable Chair, I think that is the activity which you said you had special interest, and the supporting documents are available.
Tell us the number of the annex for this attachment.
So that one, I think the technical people have the deliveries. We were addressing an issue which I think even had been raised on the floor of Parliament. So these children, numbering over 300, were all in Masulita for rehabilitation before they would be taken back to their families. That was that.
We gave you
delivery.
A list. We gave you a list showing how the food, not the food, but the maize, left the stores to other destinations. Why don't you use that list we gave you?
I think there are three main categories of destination.
Okay.
Now I would request the program officer who was coordinating this with Namaru, accounting officer. Can I have support from the technical person who was doing that to come?